What's up everyone, Jay's 2 cents here, and today we're going to take a look at a website I've been wanting to look at for a while. I heard about it actually for the first time back when Scrapyard Wars was back with Linus Tech Tips, and that's Jawa. And Jawa really caught my attention because of the fact that it is a marketplace for gamers, by gamers, and PC enthusiasts. And think of it as like Facebook Marketplace and like OfferUp and eBay and Craigslist all just mashed into one, but it's only PC parts. So anyway, that's why Jawa offered to sponsor today's video. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna take a look at the website, and I'm actually gonna buy some stuff, not like Jawa funds or anything, but my own money, because this is part one of a two-part series where I'm gonna see whether or not the stuff I bought was either one, a good deal, which we'll determine today, and two, whether or not I got hosed or scammed or whatever you want to call it. Because let's not forget, these are actual people on the other end that have intentions to make money. That's why they're selling something. And we're gonna see whether or not I put myself and my money at risk while doing that for you guys. So, okay, so Jawa.gg. Yeah, so like I said, it's basically a marketplace specifically for PC gamers. It was actually born out of the human malware that sort of went around because of all the scalping and stuff that was taking place. So one of the questions that I asked them that was really important as we had kind of our pre-meeting when I got a chance to really ask some questions and put them on the hot seat was, how do you keep scalping from happening on this website? Because any place you can sell something is an opportunity for scalpers or anyone to be opportunistic to try and find ways to scam or overcharge for things. Now, obviously, it is a point of discussion about what's considered scalping and what's considered supply and demand. I think we would all be able to agree that right now, for the most part, we are out of the scalping area, with the exception of a few caveats, like the 9800X3D right now obviously is being scalped, not for like the kind of money we were seeing during the pandemic, but we were definitely seeing like 2 to 3 times what something was worth is what it was being sold for. We're now seeing the like 9800X3D going for, I don't know, 1.5 times to almost 2 times what its value is. So that could definitely classify as scalping, but what they're looking for, and they're actually using humans to do this, is to make sure that there is not just blatant, you know, ridiculous pricing being put up there. One of the other questions I asked them again is the biggest issue with PC parts is when you buy online, you can't test it. And so I'm always asking or telling people when it comes to buying things used, if it's in person, look for proof that it works. Ask for a video of it running. Ask for a video proof that that GPU that you're using or that they're selling is one that they're using and is on and loaded and under load and all that sort of stuff, if you don't have the ability to test it yourself. You can't do that very easily on these types of websites. So one of the things that they do is they actually put the money that is, so let's say I buy something, Jawa's gonna hang on to that money until the part arrives, and then I'm able to basically say, hey, the part arrived and everything's good as advertised, then the money gets released to the seller. So the money actually goes in almost like an escrow to make sure that everything's on the up and up, to make sure they didn't just send you a brick in a shoebox, right? Calling it a GPU and here you are getting scammed. So that's pretty awesome. One of the things too to deal with people that might be taking too long to try and sell something or ship it once you buy it is the seller only has 2 days to provide a tracking number. So things are very much curated in the sense that the experience is expected to be within this parameters of the expectations of being a seller on the website. So anyway, we're gonna go ahead over to the website right now. The website is Jawa.gg. I think it's funny that people are starting to use GG nowadays. Jawa doesn't just sell parts. They also, so it's a marketplace that private sellers like you and I could sell stuff. There's also direct sales from Jawa themselves, because Jawa has that GPU and CPU buyback program where they'll make you an offer on your CPU or your GPU up to 11th gen currently on CPUs, I believe. And then what they'll do is they'll sell that directly. They do that because they're trying to make it easier for people who are trying to upgrade their systems to be able to quickly and easily make a sell. And then you get some cash back to kind of recoup cost or go towards the cost of buying your product, and then you're buying it directly from Jawa. They also have a lot of SIs that sell up here. They also have full systems, so it's everything from components to full system deals. I don't know, new. So this is just newly like listed items. Here's a 1650 Super like new for $119. Probably not a terrible price, but I haven't really shopped that tier of GPU in a while. Obviously there's some videos that are up here. Here's a full gaming system here from Don Carnage. Oh, one thing I want to point out too, if you see this purple check mark around the user's name or next to the user's name, that means they're a verified seller. It means they've kind of been vetted. They've got sales history. They are a known seller on the site, so you can have a little bit more buyer confidence that the person that you're buying from is legit and on the up and up. So that's just showing the newest listings on the site. You can sort obviously by highest. So what's the highest thing on the site right now? It's the Weapon X by Optimist for $7,200. That is a fully rigid tube cooling system, as you can see, super crazy deal. Optimist. Yeah, Optimist is clearly a system integrator doing very high-end custom water cooling builds, and that's why they're so expensive. You can buy consoles up here? Do we have a Super Nintendo? Oh, we don't have any Super Nintendos. So we got a $549 white PC. It's a 1660 Super, an i5-12400F, 16 gigs of DDR4, and 512 gigabyte M.2 with Windows. That's actually not a terrible deal. $550 for that build. I mean, a 1660 Super is not anything to really get super excited to write home about. Shipping's only $30. Does it show you where the person is shipping from? So here's our estimation of when it would be received. So if I place the order today, the order has to ship by the 29th, and then it would be arrived by December 4th. Buyer protection policy, 365 days and a 1-year warranty. Wow, okay. Actually not bad. I might consider buying a full system on here. So let's go ahead and take a look at GPUs. We can sort by all NVIDIA or AMD. It's funny how Intel's not listed on there. Do they show up under all? I don't know, whatever. So let's sort by lowest price. Let's see what we've got here. Okay, as expected, lowest price brings up a bunch of junk. So let's go to like the 4th page, still junk. Okay, here's an A750 Challenger by ASRock for $175, a 2060 6 gig for $170. I think we're gonna have to do a little price comparison here to like eBay or something to see how these prices truly compare. So let's go lowest price. So we got I almost said $1.70, 170, 30, 318, 320 for a Founders. It looks like it's in pretty good shape though. All right, 320 for that. Let's go ahead and add that to my cart. We'll start with that 3070 FE. Let's take a look at CPUs. Now for CPU, here's where I'm really gonna take a chance. I'm gonna look for like a 13900K. I'm gonna specifically look for a CPU that is in the category of, well, there's only one. There's only one up here. $325, marked down from $350. They had it listed at $350 at some point. $20 shipping for a CPU, it's kind of silly. CPU has only been used with BIOS 0x129 and then 0x12B when released. This was bought a few months ago. No issues, no longer needed. I do like that they're listing the BIOSes that it was working with, because you can at least, if they're telling the truth, know the microcode was updated for this. So that's kind of nice, but at the same time, it's still scary to buy one of these CPUs, I think. 325, is that a good deal? Let's see. Here's a brand new one on eBay. It's an F for $495. Here's brand new $399. $359 our best offer. $355, $469. Okay, well, I think we're gonna take our chances with the 13900K to see whether or not that CPU is good or not. This will be a good test of their warranty through Jawa, because Jawa does offer buyback protection here. So here's Jawa buyer protection. Receive your item as described or your money back. How am I protected as a buyer? Our top priority is ensuring trust between buyers and sellers. You can shop with confidence knowing all these are digitally moderated by our in-house PC experts. We review each part or rig listing to make sure it meets our standards of authenticity and fair pricing. If something looks fishy about the listing, we remove it until we speak with the seller and verify it. And that goes along with what they said when I talked to them directly. These are humans that are reviewing these. And I asked them, I said, if the site continues to grow, how are you gonna continue to keep up with the amount of listings that are gonna be making their way up here? And they are saying if the site continues to grow, they will continue to scale up as needed to make sure that every single listing is reviewed. Here's the buyback guarantee. It says, we will give you a full refund if your item never arrives or does not match the listing description. Issues with your order must be reported within 48-hour inspection period via email or by disputing your order on the order status page. So test your product. If a problem appears outside of the 48-hour window, that's on you. So it goes both ways. The seller has responsibilities, and as the buyer, so do you. So make sure you're doing that 48-hour window check test period. Seller protection is important too. It says a big reason we built Jawa is because we know how frustrating it could be to sell your beloved PC parts online only to get scammed or stuck in a months-long dispute process. At Jawa, we allow up to 2 days after delivery for a buyer to dispute the item, as we just talked about. After 2 days, we release the funds to the seller. In case of disputes, our team will work with the buyer and the seller to investigate the claim. Here's how you can be protected. Keep all communication and transaction from the Jawa platform, means keep the communications. And then take a photo or document any of your issues and reach out to the team immediately if something goes wrong. This is where we have to trust that this person is telling the truth here. They have a 5-star average in 6 reviews for TEV computers. So hopefully that means that we are going to not get screwed if something's not working right. We need a motherboard to put that in. So let's look at a Z690 board. Here's an MSI Z690 Tomahawk Wi-Fi for 150. Do we show pictures of the pins? Yes, we do. Every pin looks like it's in good condition. We don't see any major scratching or discoloration on the board. Doesn't look like anything's ever dripped on it or something. We've got our motherboard box with accessories. Selling used mag Tomahawk Wi-Fi DDR4. I didn't mean to pay attention to that, it's DDR4. LGA 1700 Intel motherboard, like new, condition, no issues, includes original packaging and accessories. Let's see if the other board is a DDR4. It is not a D4 board, so it means it's DDR5. I'm just double checking. Yep, it is DDR5. So I'm gonna go with the Asus board because it's cheaper and it has DDR5. So I'm gonna add that to the cart. And let's see, so I'm not building a whole system here, but I'm going for components that I feel like would be the most common people would buy. So we got a CPU, we got a motherboard, we've got a GPU. I guess I could check RAM. We got an Intel board, so we're gonna want or Intel CPU, so we're gonna want some Intel RAM. Here's for 81 bucks, 32 gig stick of well, 2 sticks of G-Skill here, DDR5. I'm not a fan of it not showing the speeds. Does the label mention? Oh, 6,000, okay. Oh yeah, XMP 3.0 ready right there, okay. That's good. I'm not a fan of it being white. RAM is gonna be interesting because I'm not entirely sure that we're gonna get a great deal on RAM on the website. I feel like RAM is something we could buy online or even Best Buy and get a pretty decent deal for it. So we gotta be looking for something really aggressive here. So again, why is this showing up on the DDR5? Oh, because their listing says they got a newer DDR5 board. That's one thing I'm not a fan of the search. The search is gonna look through the whole listing, and if it sees DDR5, it's gonna pull it up. But that's because they said they went to a DDR5 board. So I think Jawa can improve their search by having people actually be able to select if it's a DDR4 or 5 or 3 RAM. That way it doesn't show up in the search by what people write in the description box. This memory kit was purchased as an open box item from Micro Center. So this was already returned once. This person says they offer a 30-day limited warranty on open box items. This is Critical Hit Computer. So this is a store. They have 51 reviews and 5-star average. So that's pretty good. There's only one kit available. It's the Trident Z5 RGB DDR5, 32 gigs at 6,000 mega transfers at CL36. So that's actually a pretty aggressive kit of RAM right there. This is XMP ready, so that's perfect. That's 79 bucks. I want to compare now what this is actually gonna cost. So it's $92.99 new. So we're getting what, 12 bucks off of that, and this person is offering a return. Sounds like it's been tested, so I guess we'll go with that. Buyer has to pay a restocking fee of 20% though, but I would assume if something's wrong with it, they would have to waive that. That's just if you want to return the item. If something's wrong with it, you go through Jawa, you get all your money back anyway. So let's add that to our cart. What's my cart total right now? Cart total's $863. We have a 1300K, a 3070 FE, an Asus TUF motherboard, and then our RAM. This is not necessarily I'm not shopping to put together a system to make a certain deal, if that makes sense. This is kind of lopsided, like a 3070 FE with a 13900K. I probably personally would have dropped that down to a 13.6 or a 13.7 and then gotten a 3080 GPU. That's the kind of build I would have done if I were trying to make this make sense, but I'm testing specific parts right now to see how well these come as advertised. Let's take a look at what peripherals we have here. So we have headphones, keyboards, mice, controllers, speakers, simulators, and racing platforms, webcam, and VR. So they got full gaming keyboards and mechanical keyboards for sale up here. All right, so clearly they have a little bit of everything. Okay, so let me go through the buyer process right here. I'm gonna check out as a do I want to check out as a guest? I guess I should probably make an account, shouldn't I? That'd probably be better. Now they do offer a firm, that's like a payment plan type of thing. I guess it's basically where you can apply for kind of like a credit for that website, I guess. I don't use it. I try not to use credit where possible. So keep that in mind. They do offer that if that's something that matters to you. But I personally do not use like credit for this kind of stuff. So up to you to decide if that's important for you. All right, so agree to the refunds and returns policy. I'm now paying $902 for this video. Where did you hear about Jawa? Me. Here, Jawa socials. No, wait, social media creator. Sure. Jay's 2 cents, why not? Oh, really? Great. Which video creator? I'm on there. Linus Tech Tips, other creator, Jay's 2 cents, UFD Tech, Daniel Owen, Toasty Bros, Zach's Tech Turf, and Tech Source. All great channels. But I'm gonna put on here Jay's 2 cents. What delayed your decision about this purchase? Check all that apply. Other. Why you sweating me, bro? There's a lot of questions, Java. This is the kind of stuff people don't like. I've now paid $902.30, including shipping. We will do a part 2 where I'm gonna open and inspect this stuff. Hopefully nothing's wrong. If something is wrong, we definitely get to test that return policy. But now what's basically gonna happen is that money is now being held onto by Jawa. And as I report back and say, hey, things are good, that money will be released to the seller. If I don't respond within that 48-hour window, then the money becomes automatically released because it will be an assumption that everything is fine. It's not fair to the seller if you slack and take your time and don't check it and take a week to even look at the product or test it out, that the seller has to sit there and wait for their funds because you're dragging your feet. So I think it's a very fair policy that it's on the buyer to be diligent in that 2-day window once received to make sure that everything is working fine, otherwise the funds get released. I'm perfectly fine with that. A lot of websites right now would have already sent the money to the person, and now you are hoping that they're gonna follow through. Wow, it's actually pretty fast. So within only a few minutes, I've got the guy that has the motherboard has already created the label. It tells me that the person's already made the label, which tells me they might send it out today if it's early enough, depending on where they are, or potentially the next day. It's in their best interest to sell it sooner than later, or not sell it, but ship it sooner than later, because then they're gonna get their money sooner. That's kind of about it. I mean, I think you all by now kind of know how a marketplace works. You got a person selling a thing, you want the thing, you give them money, you get the thing. But not a lot of marketplaces will hang on to the money to say there's buyer protection and seller protection. That's pretty awesome. So to me, that's the biggest feature of Jawa, is the fact that there's people in the middle making sure things go smoothly, which is just not the case with so many. If you've ever put in a claim with eBay, it is ridiculous. It takes days to get a response sometimes. And to be honest, eBay will always say, well, if you didn't use PayPal or you didn't do buyer protection on stuff, then you're kind of on your own. I've had claims with PayPal as the seller where a person would say, I never received the product. And it's like, here is the tracking. There is your signature saying it was received, and PayPal would still side with the buyer and take the money back and give them the money. So they got the money and the part. More than once, this has happened to me back when I used to sell paintball stuff, like as a little side gig years ago. So that's why I basically refuse to use PayPal for things anymore, because PayPal has the most ridiculous, unfair policies, period, where it's just whatever seems to be the easiest route for them to just wash their hands of the claim. And it's absolutely, their buyer protection stuff is an absolute garbage pile. So yeah, PayPal to me is not, it's not a, there's no security in that. So I like knowing there's humans here that are now curating and escrowing these transactions, making sure that everyone is happy on both sides. But yeah, I guess that's all we're going to talk about today. I kind of ideally wanted to purchase all this stuff and then have it here, but I thought it would be important to be able to report back, obviously, in real time and say, hey, it took this long, this long, this long. Otherwise, the video would end up being an hour long if I now have to open up the stuff and test it and all that. That's going to be part 2. So anyway, guys, huge thanks to Jawa for sponsoring today's video. It's really hard to be against the idea of a marketplace designed for people like you to keep you safe and give you a place to sell your stuff or buy stuff knowing that there's actual humans on the other end that are trying to make sure that you have the smoothest buying transaction possible. Because we all know the used PC marketplace, a lot of this stuff is new, but used PC marketplace is where you can find some of the best deals, but they also carry the highest risk. So to know that there's a website that is out there trying to mitigate as much of that as possible, I don't know what kind of person you are if you can quite honestly find a negative in that. So that's on you, not on the rest of society. I think most of society would agree that something like this is a good thing. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. I'll put a link to Jawa down below. They've got some pretty big deals happening like right now during like the Black Friday type stuff. And I don't know if you noticed when I was doing checkout, there's like a discount code that's available there. I don't have any codes, but yeah, they have all kinds of deals and stuff going on with some of their vendors that they work with. Because like I said, there are a lot of new sellers on here. There's a lot of direct to like SI and other component manufacturers and stuff where they do have opportunities on their website outside of the used marketplace altogether. So you guys can find all that information down in the description below. Again, a huge thanks to Jawa for trusting me to kind of take you guys through this journey. This was my idea to just buy from the website using my own money to see what happens. And I'm excited to see how this goes. Because if you guys remember, I got a used CPU from eBay that came with a bunch of smashed pins. That was absolutely not part of the picture. So hopefully it doesn't happen here because I don't have pins on the CPU. But hopefully it all goes well so I don't have to try that buyer protection. But if something goes wrong, you can bet that's part of part 2. All right, guys, thanks for watching. As always, we'll see you in the next one.